we have the very talented Beth Maitland from Young and the Restless. Beth, how are you?
I'm great. Hi, you guys. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much for taking time from your busy schedule.
Yep. I really appreciate it.
Well, actually, I have been looking forward to it because I have spent the last few hours on the road from where I live, which is in the central coast of California, driving into Los Angeles, and I planned everything out just about to the minute so I could be sitting here with a cup of coffee talking to you guys.
Oh, cool. Well, California coast is beautiful. I miss California.
Where are you?
I'm in Florida right now. I'm from Boston.
That's beautiful too. That's beautiful too.
Not in Central Florida. Unless you like strip malls and touristy things, I guess, and retirement homes. But no, I lived in San Francisco for a year. That was great.
Oh, how beautiful! Yeah. A little foggy, a little cold, a little foggy, a little kind of. Southern California is kind of like living in a vacuum. We don't get very much weather, but we occasionally get the ground to shake. So I guess that makes up for it.
Yeah, I like the weather there. I mean, I'm from Boston, so to me it was beautiful. I didn't need heat or AC.
Oh, wow.
So now we're shooting for the Young and the Restless. I know you can't tell us much about your upcoming story, but when can we expect to see you?
Well, actually, I don't know exactly the date. I will probably find out sometime this week, but I do know that my shows start to air the first full week of May. So very early May. I've been back for a couple of weeks now, and I think they're 3 or 4 weeks in advance, taping in advance of what's airing. So my guess is the first full week of May. And perhaps at some point when I get the actual air date, if you want me to, I can just email it to you or something. But in the meantime, I think that's kind of enough because I understand now that there's lots of places that you can get that information online, CBS.com. I think if you click on Young and the Restless, they have information about comings and goings. I think probably there'll be something in some of the online and actual newsstand magazines of Soap Opera Digest, Books in Depth. Those kinds of magazines also have an exact prediction, and they actually know much before I do.
How is that possible?
Well, frankly, because they are in touch with all the shows, and the shows give them information that they're allowed to publish as their new magazines hit the stands. They, like our pre-shooting time, the amount of time between the day we shoot it and the time it airs, they also have to go to press and get those magazines on the stands. So they need to have advance notice too. So often they'll know stuff before I do. My finger's on the pulse.
Well, I'm very excited.
While I'm driving.
I'm excited to have more Abbotts back in the picture.
Oh, thank you. I am too. And quite frankly, even if it's by default, because I know, since Eileen is tied up over at Days of Our Lives and doing awesome, doing great, having a really great time. And our darling Rylan has gone over to General Hospital, as you know. And now we've got a new Abby and a new Kyle. And it has been tradition that when there are new actors playing established roles on the show, they often try to surround them with established character faces, actors that have been there in their storylines for some time. And at first, that's what I sort of thought I was going to be there to do, is just sort of be the auntie and surround the new actors, so that the audience gets a chance to sort of get their sea legs and get used to the new faces playing characters that they've already seen and appreciated. So there'll be a little bit of that, I hope, and lots of sort of family, rekindling our family dynamic so far, and just so excited to be able to have worked with Peter, who I just adore, and I actually was so tickled the first day that I was back on the show. We finished our scenes, and he looked me in the eye after our first scene was finished. And there was a little break, a little breath before everybody starts moving around again. And he said, "I just love the Jack I am when you're here." And I just was so excited about that. Basically what, is historic investment on and off the set of, the Abbott family all are friends, and we get together socially from time to time. We have adored each other for these long decades, and so it's just a breeze for them to count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and us to click into just loving each other. It's wonderful.
Now, I was going to ask you, you've probably had more family members have be played by different actors than I think anybody on the show, haven't you?
Maybe
you've had three different actresses play Ashley. You've had three different actresses play Colleen. You've had 2 different actors play Jack. Missing wait, I know I'm missing Kyle and Abby.
You've been the only constant, right?
Of an official Abbott. That's very true. As an official Abbott, I'm the only actress that has been the only one to play Tracy. There was a brief, the John Abbott character, there was a different actor playing him very briefly, and they decided not to go with that. And then about 6 months later, it was back when Terry Lester used to play Jack. They brought him a father, they brought him a dad, and they just somehow either was premature for their plans or whatever, and that actor they didn't have back. And then about 6 months later or so, they decided to actually commit to building the Abbott family. And Terry Lester was Jack. Jerry Douglas came in playing a new actor for that role, came in to play John. So there was, for just a really brief early time, another John Abbott too. And then they hired Eileen and I to play the 2 daughters. So that was 30 years ago. I start my 31st year in June.
Wow.
I know, right?
We had Lauren on.
Tracy
Bergman. Yeah. And I said to her, I always just remember back in the 80s when, my mom used to watch it, and I would watch it with her, and I would always remember that Lauren picked on Tracy so bad, it was just awful.
It's so funny because we have always been. She started about 6 months later than I did, so it's 30 years for her too. And she actually moved about a block and a half from where I lived in the San Fernando Valley so that we could walk our dogs together every day. And we hung out all the time. We had dinner together 3 or 4 times a week. We were the best of friends. And to go to work and play, I think that's why our friendship's so good, because we got it all out. We would go do these evil, mean, terrible scenes, and there were times when she would just come to me and she'd say, I don't even know how I'm going to say this, because that's totally not who Tracy is and ever was, the character of Lauren, which is a big compliment as an actor, that she could so successfully play in the early years a manipulative, evil, mean, spiteful stinker of a character. And then over the years, for her character to have evolved into, although right now she's having a little backslide, I think, with this Carmine thing, but she has, her at heart, I think Lauren has really changed. Having a child, in the story, all the things that have sort of informed her character have changed her into someone, she and Michael were, the Lauren and Michael marriage was sort of, they were like the super couple that could withstand the tests of time and whatever. So I think it's kind of really fun and interesting to shake their foundation a little bit and see what they're made of. I love this, what's going on right now.
I think it's great too. Now, I remember one of the first episodes, and I've been wrong about this before, so hopefully I'm not wrong again. When I first remembered watching it was summer of 1989, and Michael Damian was doing the Danny Romolotti concerts.
Okay.
Now, did you sing with him in that?
Well, I don't know if I did in the summer of 1989, and here's what I mean by that. We did a summer concert every summer for like 5 years in a row. And I always sang in the concerts every year with him. Sometimes it was just Danny and Tracy, meaning Beth. Sometimes it was Danny and Tracy and Lauren fighting over Danny, and then they added
that.
and then oh really?
I think
Do you remember?
I think it was you and Tracy Bregman in it. And then I somehow had confused that it was Brenda Epperson, and she's like, no, it wasn't me. I said, yeah, it was you. And she said, no, I swear it wasn't me. I said, oh, yeah, you're right. It wasn't you, because you know. And so I'm arguing with Brenda on air about it.
Oh, you're so funny. Do you remember what song it was? I could tell you by the song, I think.
Oh, I could. I don't know. I was young.
You know what?
Young,
okay.
I saw some crazy video with all of you doing some kind of Just Say No campaign.
Yes.
I just saw it. Like, somebody tweeted it to me not long ago.
Oh, that's wild.
It was probably me. It was me.
I was going to say, because after a while, it was not only just Danny and Tracy and Lauren. Later on, they added Patty Weaver, who played Danny's sister, Jana.
Yes,
so then there were three. Yes. And
that's
those
what
were
That's what it was. Yeah.
Okay. And then that
now I got it finally, I know.
There was one year that Michael Damian wrote a song to save the earth, to raise awareness for recycling and sort of things like just it was early, it was in the 80s, so really the recycling craze hadn't become popularized yet, and so he wrote a song called Save the Earth, and did that one year, and then there was Just Say No, It's Okay to Say No, addressing teenage sexuality, I don't mean orientation, but participation, saying no to teen sex, that kind of thing. And so there were, every summer they kind of took on a cause in those years that kind of was why I ended up there. They wanted to really talk about, when I was hired, I was only hired for the summer, for 3 months. I did have a longer-term contract originally, but it was with a clause that at the end of the summer, after 3 months, they could release me. And I was told when I was hired that they probably would. It would probably just be a storyline that ran the summer. And it was the shy, overweight, insecure youngest daughter of this, giant cosmetics family, and who didn't feel like she fit in to what her family stood for. And, she was adored from afar, this teen idol, Danny Romalotti, and he was going to help build up her confidence by answering his fan mail, by letting her answer his fan mail. And it really, the response was overwhelming, and they decided to go on and on and on. So every summer after that, for like the next 3 years, there was a weight-related storyline. In 1 year, I fought bulimia in the storyline, and I
thought I remembered you having an eating disorder. I was thinking that today.
Yes, that's right. And then the next year, for a lot of other circumstances, I started taking diet pills. And that was a lot of the pressure. I was in love with Danny, and we were getting closer, and Lauren stepped in and went after him, and they got engaged, and it drove me to feel that my dieting wasn't happening fast enough, and I turned to diet pills, and then I got involved with the diet pill pusher, and then I overdosed and crashed my car, and I got arrested, and they had to take me to the hospital. I sustained heart damage, and so they let me go undercover. It was at the time, Paul Williams, Doug Davidson's father, had been the police chief, and the captain was played by Brock Peters, who was a fabulous, magnificent black actor who is no longer with us, and his daughter was my best friend, played by Stephanie Williams. He came to me and made me a deal and said, if you go undercover and help us catch the pusher, it's a soap opera, you guys.
Oh, man,
yeah. So again, every summer there was some big teen issue that they took on and tried to raise awareness. And like I said, the fan mail and the response was just overwhelming. And I have the fans to be grateful to for continuing to support the fact that Tracy was one of the most unusual soap characters, a shy, overweight, not necessarily supermodel type character on daytime at a time in the 80s when it was only beautiful people. And that's the other interesting thing about Young and the Restless. In those days, it was Mr. Bill Bell's greatest desire to change the look of the show, not the look of the people, but the caliber of the acting, and get away from the sort of a kind of a stilted sort of, I don't want in any way to detract from the accomplishments of all of the actors that came before, but it was his desire to raise the bar for acting and for story. And I was very fortunate to be on the show during a time when all of those opportunities became available to all of us. And I think that there was a great core of actors that were working at that time that really were respectful of the work and committed to the idea. And that's when The Young and the Restless became #1 for the first time. It was during those years in the 80s.
Yeah, Bill Bell was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
His legacy.
There was certainly no one that could tell a story over time and knew how to, in those days, storylines took a long time. There was a long story arc because there weren't a whole lot of other choices. Cable wasn't here yet. The internet wasn't here yet. So there weren't a lot of distractions, other options for viewing. So you had you had 3 major networks and usually a 4th or 5th local affiliate if you were in a big market, like a big city area, New York or Chicago or somewhere like that. But there weren't that many choices. And so you could take your time weaving a story and opening little bits of it a little at a time. Now, it's a very different world in daytime, as you all know. And they have to tell stories in a much quicker pace, and it's young and it's fast and it's now and it's edgy. And a lot of that old-fashioned, brilliant building of story is no longer, there's just no time for it anymore. So he was certainly a master at that.
Yeah, that's true. I think I read somewhere once they said Bill Bell knew how to time like the arcs of every story so that when one was kind of falling, another one would be rising, and he just kind of thread it all together like such a big tapestry.
Yes.
And I see that happening again with Y&R, I think.
I think people are just impatient these days.
Really? I frankly think that it is more a result of so many choices. People don't have time to invest in something that takes a long time anymore because they can click back past it to another thing that's moving faster. They can click over to cable and watch a movie. They can go onto the internet and they can select on demand anything that they want to see. I think there's not time to tell stories like that, and I don't necessarily think that it's the speed at which we live, although that certainly is part of it. I think it's more the number of choices, and it seems that's just sort of my observation. I don't know if that's the exact explanation, but it also, I think, has to do with what young people, the way that young people live with a YouTube world and a reality show world where they get to see the answer right away. They get to see the end result. Things that are scripted have to kind of follow the pace and the storytelling, and we don't have the luxury of waiting when they can, watch reality unravel before your eyes. You can, in 2 episodes, get to the end of people's meltdown. I hate to say it, but it's like a Jerry Springer world now. It's a sort of, people can watch horrifying things go on in this sort of wire television, reality-based television market. It's just changed everything about storytelling. Yeah,
that's true. Like the meltdowns, the well-edited meltdowns, I think.
Yeah.
But give me a soap over the Kardashians any day.
Bless your heart.
Ask Josh Morrow what he thinks about the Kardashians if you don't already know.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, he's funny on Twitter.
Now there's a young man who needs to get an opinion. He's one of my favorites. He's my favorite guy.
He's a funny one, yeah. One time he said something about rather watching the Kardashians watch paint dry. I said, "Oh, you must really hate it, then." It's too bad that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, honey.
Oh, no, it's okay. I was saying it's too bad that scripted television has taken the back seat when it's much cheaper with these reality shows, though.
That's right. And, it's, again, a world of reality, not TV so much as, bottom line reality. There are a lot of sacrifices that have to be made just to stay on television now. So I think that everyone that I know in daytime, and my husband is a sound mixer at General Hospital. I have friends on almost all the soaps that are in production at the moment, and many friends that are unemployed as a result of the change in daytime that has caused the cancellation of so many of those shows. And I think everybody understands the reality, but longs for the longer term story, the scripted storytelling that I don't know, historically and traditionally was the reason people tuned into soaps in the first place.
I agree, absolutely. So
yeah.
Now,
go ahead, Rob.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that we're moving away from that a little bit, because you see, like, the real storytelling kind of shows, like, things like Game of Thrones are really popular now. So I think we're kind of starting to move away from reality a little bit.
I hope so. And not that there's anything wrong with reality, but I know I talk to friends of mine that are European or from other countries, Australian or Canadian, and they kind of are surprised at America and how it has embraced reality television. And even from a fiscal standpoint, they're inexpensive to produce at the moment. But there's no reruns for reality TV.
No,
everybody
right.
knows
they don't last 100.
Right. So you can't make any money at the back end selling it to another market or anything, because they already, it's on the internet. They already know what happened. Nobody wants to see that again.
Yeah. We want to see reruns of the real life 20 years later because it's so exciting. So now, speaking of now, you did Crystal Chappelle's The Grove.
Yes. It was fantastic.
That was great. I saw the pilot movie.
Oh, good.
Now,
go ahead.
I was going to say, we expect to see more of that? More of you in that?
I hope so. At the last conversation I had with Crystal, she would like to, she's actually in production this very minute on the next season of Venice, which is her other series. And, I think that she would, what she said last time was that she would love to concentrate on that, on doing she's one of the pioneers in internet broadcasting, in my opinion. She is helping to sort of set the standard, find the actual sort of business model that works to establish a workable, doable, being paid kind of business on the internet for continuing dramas. Venice is short time period per episode, 10-minute episodes or whatever, but they shoot them all in a very condensed short amount of time, but then the way they edit them, that they can break that down into individual bits. The Grove was an experiment to try to make sort of a mini movie and do the whole thing that was not broken into sections. And it's a pilot, and it's also a mini movie, and it's also sort of the first season. And so I think what she is trying to figure out is the best way to continue, whether that needs to then be broken down into small episodes to continue it, or whether just once a year or once a season, or once a 6-month period interval or whatever, there is another whole hour episode. I don't know if you're familiar with there's a fabulous English series called Sherlock, very similar to our Lucy Liu CBS show, where it is an updated Sherlock Holmes telling in modern day. And they only have, I think, 6 total episodes and have been in production over the course of 4 years. And they do almost like a movie of the week. Every episode is an hour and change, an hour and 20 minutes or something. And every episode, they only have in each season 3 episodes. Or something similar to that. It might be 2 episodes over the course of 3 seasons, something like that. There's only 6 available over the course of several years of production. And so there are all kinds of different experiments going on to see what business model is going to really stick and work. With The Grove, it is available on YouTube, but there have to be ways to make money and to pay for the next episode. So, it's a big kind of gray area trying to figure out, do we do it by subscriptions? Do we sell the episodes? Like One Life to Live and All My Children that you're referring to, you can watch it if you have Hulu, but you need to purchase it on iTunes if you want to own the episodes, which is a great idea. So now we have to kind of find what really works to be able to keep it up. Because actors and crew people and designers and writers, everybody has to be paid. And in a perfect world, we do get the opportunity to do what we love, but to keep it up, you have to really be able to pay your bills too, and pay for the next very handsome chunk of change to produce the next hour and 10 minutes or whatever of broadcasting. So I think that's where we are. I think she has every intention, and I just don't know, when, how soon. We hope maybe this summer. We hope that we'll do one a summer every year. I look forward to it. It was a blast. Fabulous actors and fabulous production staff and people it was one of the best experiences I've had on a set. In one of the most family-type environments. I come from theater, and doing plays is like that. You all sort of band together, help each other, and become a family. Nighttime television, not so much. Movies, not so much. I mean, over the people that are there through the whole thing, maybe, but the people that are in and out and only in a few scenes or a few episodes, it's not so much. It's a hard nut to crack. This was a beautiful set, just a pleasure to work there. And it's so much fun to play a wacky character like that. Temptation to do too much. I tried really hard to keep it in the soap opera genre and not play it for broad comedy, because I felt like that would sort of compromise whatever they have in store in the future for Gloria, this crazy right-wing goofball drinker.
Yeah, right? Who was Christian LeBlanc's mother, right?
Stepmother, yes.
Stepmother, right? He was supposed to be 25, or thought he was, right? that was Brian. Was that Crystal's way of poking fun at the soap opera rapid aging syndrome or something?
Or partially, I think, opening doors for odd familial relationships in the future, because he's supposed to be a product of the evil patriarch's first marriage. And then Nadia, of all things, Bjorlin is our daughter together. So she's my full daughter, and Christian, her half brother, is. And so I think that they were, leaving a lot of options open for peculiar story twists to come.
I thought it was great seeing so many familiar actors in just completely different roles.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, that was great.
That's one of the reasons we all say yes. Is when we're given a chance to do something kind of out of our comfort range, but still in a safe environment where we know that they're not going to make us look ridiculous. You have to have a certain amount of faith, slamming back your Xanax and your red wine, and cussing like a sailor when at home my old boy network CBS is watching, saying, "What?"
I love the Xanax red wine. That was great. I could use them myself right now.
Oh, that's funny. It was so much fun to do.
It looked like it. I was really impressed with the quality. I mean, it looked like something I'd see on the Sundance Channel or IFC.
I know. It was quite beautiful. Everything cinematically was just beautiful. The lighting, the location. It was near where I live. It was shot up in the Central Coast of California and at an avocado grove, and it was just spectacular. And a lot of the scenes were shot on a misty morning. It was foggy and misty, and it could not have been more beautiful. Just a few miles from the ocean, so there was that beautiful climate, that sort of canyon light that mountains on either side provide, and it was so beautifully shot.
Oh, you're making me long for California.
See what happens?
Me too. I want to move out there as well. So
summer's coming, you guys.
Do it together.
I know. I'll be back there.
Coming.
Now we have someone who'd like to say hi. Would you mind giving a call? Okay.
I'd love to.
Pam.
Hi, Beth. How are you?
I'm good. Who is this?
My name's Pam. I talked to you before. I work for Jerry Douglas.
Oh, Pam, of course. Hi. Did you talk to me on Douglas? On air with Douglas?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks for calling again. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I want to tell you about my fantastic night I had last night. I went to an award show here in Rochester, and Trisha Cass was here.
Oh, for Bat.
Yeah, for Bat McGriff. He's from Rochester. Oh, he was awesome. Him and Bat and Don Potter got up to do a song. Oh, my God. It was awesome.
How fun. You know that I have a bunch of music friends from Rochester, from Eastman School of Music. And as you also
That's where we were. We were at the Eastman Theater.
Yes.
That's where it was held last night.
How awesome. And my Jack Alaco, who was is no longer composing, but was the former composer for The Young and the Restless of the score with David Kurtz, and they're still over at Bold and the Beautiful writing music. Jack is an alumni, and I think he is actually also, he goes back and guest conducts there. He has written I don't know if it's an opus, what we would call it. It's not a symphony as much as maybe a work.
His first husband, right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, he's from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he grew up, I believe it was in Rondequoit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's from here.
Yes, I know he's from Rochester. I don't know what neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, I want to ask you, how can we get to see more of Tracy? I think they need to have you more on the show.
Well, I'm hoping that you'll see a little more of me over the next week. But I honestly am not sure anymore. It used to be, when I first started on soap operas, that mounting a fan mail campaign was often read, recorded, and paid attention to. I don't know if tweeting or emails to producers and to the network has any result or not. What?
They do because I'm friend with Jennifer Garris from the Bold and Beautiful, and her mom says every letter, every postcard, every package, they count. And they write down each actor, actresses, and how much mail they get.
Oh, that's fantastic. Then it sounds to me like they honor the fans and their wishes, and they listen when the fans speak. So I don't know exactly. Like I said, I'm, as you know, off more than I'm on anymore. So I'm not really sure of what campaign would work. I appreciate your wishes very much, and if you're saying that those efforts are paid attention to, then I appreciate
I've written many times to Maria Bell. I've already written to Jill on your behalf. I want to see you get a lot more.
Jill is very receptive. She definitely reads her tweets and her emails. And
she does. Yeah.
Oh, that's super. Well, thanks, you guys, for all of that. And
I want to tell you, I always thought you were so beautiful. I had problems with weight when I was younger, too, because I have a thyroid problem. Mm-hmm. And I had kids picking on me. And when the storyline happened where Tracy was picking on Beth, I just sat there crying because that was happening to me, too.
And you know what, Pam? I think that everyone can relate to that at some level. It doesn't have to be weight. It could be acne, or your ears stick out, or you're too tall, or you have a large Adam's apple, or there are all these things that we go through as we're settling into being adults. When you're in puberty and in your teen years, there's all these things that are so important in terms of how we look to how we feel. And I think that was one of the charming things about that character, is that even if it wasn't a weight situation, everybody had something that they secretly were suffering with when they were a teenager that made them relate to Tracy. Everybody's heart broke for Tracy because their hearts broke for themselves when they were going through it.
And I miss too. I wish they would bring those concerts back during the summertime. Michael, Tracy, you get up there singing. Those were the good old days. I used to look forward to it every summer.
And Danny and Lauren up there rapping.
Yeah. No, Tracy Bregman won't do it. That's Michael Damian.
Sherry said she wouldn't do it.
No, Tracy Bregman. She only sings when she's hiking or if somebody clubs her over the head or something.
No. Beth, have you ever tried recording any music? Because you have an awesome voice.
That's how I met my husband. I was asked by CBS Records to record a 3-song master, and my husband now, who I didn't know at the time obviously, was hired to be the recording engineer. He was hired by my record producer to be the recording engineer, and that's how we met. And one of my favorite things is being in the studio. I'm also a voice actor, and although I have not done anything recently because now I'm kind of a little geographically out of reach, I spent a lot of years doing little commercials and jingles and some children's animated movies for Disney, and I did a movie where they translated it. I dubbed from French to English. I was the English wife in a movie that Disney brought over to purchase the rights for Tim Allen to do. I want to say that they called it Jungle to Jungle, I think, is the American version. And I did it was a French film, and I did the translation of the wife from French to English. So I love being in the studio, and it's something that either singing or speaking is one of my favorite things to do. I love to read books on tape and do a little bit of recording of books on tape as well. I just love it.
That's great.
You can go work in your fluffy slippers.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for calling in.
Nice to talk to you.
You too, Beth. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
How nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's very nice. Jerry's going to be doing the show in a couple of weeks. He had to reschedule. He was going to be on, was it last week, Danny, or the week before? But it was Blog Talk.
I think it was the week before, but the Blog Talk website was having some crazy problems.
It was down. I'm freaking out. I was like,
was down like the economy.
So my goal is to have every member of the Abbott family at some point on the show. So
that will be super.
I've interviewed, all the Ashleys. Well, so far. No, not all on this show, but Brenda and Sherry I've had on the show already.
Okay.
And let's see, I haven't had Peter Bergman on yet. I'd love to. And
we've had you, and we're having John on, so we just got to get Peter.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. And I bet you will. And he loves to do stuff like this, so I bet you will.
That's cool.
Tell him we're awesome, would you please?
No. Is there anything you'd like to tell us about what you're doing now that you'd like people to know?
Let's see. You may know that I also do production work, and I am currently on my hiatus. So this is so much fun to have Young and the Restless to be doing when I ordinarily would have been on sort of my summer break. I work on a show called Shake It Up, we're on our 3rd season. We just finished our 3rd season. It's a Disney show. It's about 2 teen dancers. And additionally, I finished the season doing Baby Daddy, which is a show for ABC Family, which was lots of fun, talented actors, really funny material, lovely, lovely writing, and that was a blast. But I've been doing this kind of little secret behind-the-scenes production job all the way back to Third Rock from the Sun and Caroline in the City. So I've been able to watch some of the best and some of the not so best, but certainly some of the most talented comedy actors, writers, and teams on television. And so that's what I do kind of in my off time when you're not seeing me on TV. In addition, I have a small little, I was joking with you guys before the show about technology and about how Tracy Bregman just got me on Twitter last week. So she's cracked she's cracked the last social media nut that I was resisting. But I have a little Facebook page and now my Twitter. I also have a little blog spot and a YouTube channel, and I'm developing. I'm a textile artist, so I do quilting, I do machine embroidery, I do handwork, but more now lately designing personal and home accessories as well as costumes. I ride a beautiful big black Frisian horse, and so I have made all my own and his costumes for exhibitions and parade kind of things and stuff. And so it kind of opened up some areas where other people wanted to hire me to design things for them or build things for them for various performances. And so I started just putting things out there. It ended up resulting in me writing a quilting book, which I'm nearly finished with. I actually am so close to finished. It's all sort of in the final production stages, getting approved and getting photos in place. And So on my blog, I've been releasing information about it and little tutorials and projects from the chapters as little sample tutorials. And on my YouTube channel, I've been doing little demos, little demonstrations and tutorials on video, blogging, I guess they call that now, you young people. And so I'm developing content for my little YouTube channel as well. All those things, my brand is Drama Queen Bee. Beth Maitland of the Drama Queen Bee. And I'm having a lot of fun cross-marketing back and forth from my website, which is just myname.com, BethMaitland.com. You can add links to all of those different places. You can come and friend me or follow me or, check out what I'm doing. And it's really fun. I teach sometimes, and that's what it was a request that I start doing these video tutorials to be able to have a lasting sort of document that people could follow along and review. I've only got a few basic ones on up right now. Young and the Restless sort of interrupted my process of, during my summer break, I was going into production to build a whole bunch more. So we'll just have to pace those out. But I'm adding them as I finish them. I'm doing the editing myself, and it's really fun. And so I'm just sort of, it's my very modest little textile empire I'm building. And it's something that I can do from my beautiful studio up in the Central Coast and ride my horse in the morning and quilt and design in the afternoon. And I hope that it's sort of something I can develop and promote enough to be able to maybe once a month go someplace and teach, or go someplace and do a book signing and a little class or something in the afternoon. And I love meeting people. Sewers and quilters are fantastic people, and they're also a lot of the people that watch soap operas on television. So many of them are my fans, and so it's really fun to be able to, like chatting with you guys today, and now sort of meeting people sort of anonymously on Twitter. I'm finding this lovely community of very welcoming people who are kind and entertaining and supportive, and it's just great. I haven't had any shocking, nasty comments yet. Tracy Bregman warns there may be one or two of them. But as I told Lauren, I'm stronger now. I'm more mature. I can get past the meanness.
I remember, was that the scene that you had a few years back when the characters reconciled? That was a great scene.
Yes.
Tracy kept saying how she was so happy they did that.
And me too, because it's one of those moments that you don't get to experience very often, where the history actually makes a complete circle and there's closure on things. A lot of things are just either dropped or not mentioned for years. This was actually complete circle closure for a storyline that, although many other smaller legs or arms of those stories were paid off, this is something I really think impacts people. That bullying and meanness and name calling. People. It might be really fun to watch on television, but it is. Look at the bullying, the awareness that we're now experiencing in the world today about how absolutely critical to a child's future being understood and being accepted can be. And so I was just thrilled to have that happen.
Yeah, that was really great how they did do that. And I know you can't tell us, but I have a feeling that might come back into play with the Sen bullying storyline, but we'll see.
Isn't that interesting? I know, and I don't know how that will reveal itself or unravel, but I sense the same thing. I read these scenes. I get, when I get the script, I kind of glance over, since I've been gone for a while. Last summer with my last appearances, I try to catch up, and so I read all the scenes, and I'm watching this stuff unfold with Fen and Kyle and Summer. All these, it's eerie, and it's like, oh my gosh, wouldn't that
1985? Hello.
Yeah. And wouldn't that be something if we got to revisit all of that after all these years in another, circle of life deal, another complete circle. Now we're the caretakers for people that are doing the damage that we lived through or handed out back in the day. Oh, I really look forward to the opportunity. I hope that is a string of that story they picked up and run with.
I do too. I think that would be great. And but nothing beats the scene with you and Tracy Bregman outside of Brad's hospital room with the cat fight, like the Alexis and Crystal cat fight. And you can see the stuntmen when they come in too, I think.
Oh, that's so funny. But a lot of it we did. I mean, she threw that pitcher of water in my face, and I pushed her down. It was so much fun. We broke a table. It was a coffee table. We threw magazines at each other.
I was wondering, was that a real table that got broken?
It was a breakaway table. It was supposed to break. But oh my gosh, it was so hilarious. That was so much fun. And someone just on my Facebook page sent it to me. I know it's on YouTube. So it's I showed it to my 17-year-old daughter, who, I mean, Tracy Bregman to her is Auntie Tracy. I don't know if my daughter's ever really paid attention to me ever being on television. So to play that scene for her, have her watch her auntie and her mother beat each other up, it's just hilarious to see her face. So
Tracy was telling us she had the hardest time with the scenes when she really had to pick on you. She said she really had a hard time doing that.
And she did, and I believe it. There was a restaurant we used to go to at least once a week for supper or lunch or whatever after work. And once I went to the ladies' room to wash up, and this woman followed me into the ladies' room and said, "You cannot sit with her. She is mean. She hates you. She's doing things behind your back. You cannot have lunch with that woman." I mean, she was so. I'm like, dude, isn't that what you guys say? Dude. It was hilarious. You do know it's just a story, right? It's just a show. She's really quite wonderful. But this woman just argued and argued with me and didn't want me to sit down at a table with Tracy Bregman.
You might find when you're on Twitter that for a while that you might find that there are soap fans out there who may have difficulty separating the character from the actor.
Okay.
I'll just say that.
Heads up, Beth.
Okay. Well, as long as it's entertaining and in good fun. I have to say, I can't wait.
Just ask Tracy about some of the tweets she got when Lauren first had the affair with Carmine.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I will. I probably will see her around in the hallway this week. I will get right to the bottom of that.
She's getting it bad.
Oh.
Yeah. No. Well, yeah. Did you mean that for a double meaning?
That's not what I was talking about.
Okay.
I know where your mind was going with that, Rob.
Steady, you two. Steady. We're on the radio now.
It's internet.
Anybody could be listening.
As we know, with One Life to Live and All My Children, on the internet, the rules are different.
That's right. Internet rules, all holds the barred. Is that right?
Right.
All holds barred.
We can't swear in the chat room, but...
Yeah, that's crazy. We can say whatever we want on air.
On the air, but
try to type a curse word in the chat room.
Oh.
It censors you.
Oh, good. That's hilarious.
Well, I want to thank you again, Beth, for taking the time to spend some time with us and to catch up and let us know what you're doing. And I really look forward to your upcoming episodes on Y&R and what happens back.
Great. Thank you.
If I have my way, we'll get them all back.
Oh, fantastic. I look forward to it, too. And I think, again, it's something that you can, sometime in the first week of May is when I think the target dates are for the first shows to start airing. And I hope it goes on and on and on and on and on. I'm just loving being there.
Cool. Well, we'll tweet that we like it, and they'll listen.
Definitely.
Awesome. I'm counting on you guys.
We will.
We'll get it done.
Plenty of people out there.
Well, it has been a great pleasure to talk to you. Oh, absolutely. You guys are charming and really a lot of fun. I appreciate it very much.
Well, enjoy your ride home.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being on.
Thanks, Danny.
Bye.
Bye, Rob.
Bye-bye.